Positive Power fans. This is Ginger Star. Welcome to the very first episode of Positive Power with Ginger Star. And I have a very special guest with me today. His name is Mark Mather. Mark, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing quite well, thank you.
You're just well? Not great?
Yep, just well.
Fantastic?
hmm
Terrific?
Well
Just
enough
well?
is good enough.
Well
Well,
enough
good.
is good. All right. Guys, we're going to try to get him to go from good to great at the end of this interview. All right. And since this is the very first episode, our word of the day is going to be positive. So, for those of you who would like to follow us during the course of this interview, comment below how many times that the word positive was used. If you're the winning comment and if you're the first one to get it, you will get a shout out in one of our shout out interviews. And also, Mark, your challenge is going to be to say that word as many times as you can during the course of the interview. Do you
I'm
accept the
positive.
challenge?
I'm positive that I can do it.
He's positive that he can do it, guys. That's great. That's awesome. Okay. One other thing for those of you who are new here, we have something called the power button. What is the power button?
Do I need to press it?
Yes, of course. What is it? I'm
Beep.
gonna press. Yes, so the power button is the subscribe button. So for those of you who are new here that are following along, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It helps us out. And it's what it allows us to continue to making content for you guys. And of course, for those of you who are following us on Rumble, your power button is going to be the Rumble button. So everybody get ready to rumble. We're going to have a great time. Now, I can tell you guys, Mark and I have been friends since about 2007. He's pretty much supported me in a positive way on just about any venture that I've gone on. But more specifically, what I want to talk about is the incredible artwork that he has gotten accustomed to, especially in the last couple of years. Mark, what was your inspiration to be creative and expressing yourself in the work of art?
Well, I noticed from a pretty young age that I had um, a good concept and grasp on colors, on framing, and on overall layout. So I've always been good with scenery, drawing pictures of things that are still, not really moving, and mostly like nature. So plants, um, bugs, various other things that are out there in nature that don't move around a lot. So that way I can take my time and understand where the frame is and draw. And as I got older, I started having trouble with drawing with my hands because of just how big they are. I'm a giant person. So I ended up having to transfer over to digital art and drawing with a mouse and keyboard as my tools, which started off pretty rough. I won't I won't pretend that you start pretty much at the bottom and then you kind of start working and getting used to the tools and you start working up. I have special equipment to help me to draw. Oh, it's because the cord's not going to. I have a vertical mouse here that helps me to stay comfortable when I'm using my tools, my mouse to move around. And then I have a mouse pad and wrist pad so that I can stay comfortable while I'm doing art. And let me just set the camera right back there. Okay. And then it's a matter of just learning the different programs that are available. Right now, I'm using a pixel art application called Ace Sprite, which is available on Steam and also independently by its own website, which is usually designed for pixel art and smaller size scale animation and drawings, but it actually can go all the way up to 4K as long as you don't add too many frames of animation. The program itself has a lot of support from other people and creators out there, and I recently participated in a 30-day art challenge, which also had a class connected to it where you drew for an hour every single day, as very little interruptions as possible, and you drew a different piece every day for a particular theme, and it can be a still image or it could have been a animation. So there's a bunch of different ways that you could approach it, and it was up to you as the artist to plan it out and to execute it and to stay within your scope within the 1 hour time period for each day. So I managed to successfully finish that, although I had to cheat a little bit by catching up on the weekends. But overall, I was able to finish within the 30 days, the 30-day challenge, and was able to submit my presentation for other people to give feedback.
You also are the logo designer for Eagle Chess Knockout, and you've worked on a couple of other art pieces for Eagle Chess Knockout. For those of you who are tuning in, it is a story about a dark chess master who wants to take over the world, and there are 5 chess-based superheroes that rise to stop him. So if you're into that kind of thing, you can go check us out on the other podcast. Me and Mark, we've kind of collabed together before, but I specifically want to hear about the art pieces that you've done for the show. Tell our audience a little bit about what you've got to do and how your artwork has kind of grown from there.
Well, I started by assisting you with making a rough logo, which we then developed into a 720p logo. And then we had to change the logo itself so that it was not confusing with other intellectual properties, so that we could post it onto as a podcast format for the various online websites. So we ended up having to spell out the entire name of the show instead of just using the abbreviation Echo. So we ended up going and upgrading to the current logo, which is an outer space piece with an astral threat of the Dark Chess Master trying to put his hand down on the planet Earth, and the light from planet Earth shining up, representing the Eagle Chess Knockout team. Is pushing him back, and obviously the words Eagle Chess Knockout, the name of the podcast, is on the logo as well.
And you've also got to develop some of the characters along with our very good friend Megan Blumel. By the way, guys, she is a phenomenal artist as well. So Megan, if you're watching this, huge shout out to you. We love you. Your artwork is amazing. What was it like working with Megan?
Very positive. She was always very good with her lines and drawing humanoids, and I'm not very good with humanoids. Like I said, I'm mostly like scenic and trees and nature, mainly because I have trouble with getting things looking realistic. So I generally stick to aliens, to monsters and creatures and stuff when I'm drawing characters on a piece. So it's very helpful to have someone who was able to do humanoid figures well, and she actually was able to teach me some things, and I helped her with the cleaning up the line work and was able to help color and produce backgrounds for her pieces, which started off pretty simple, and then it got a little bit more elaborate with actual like scenery and then I had to arrange the characters on the scene, which was also fun. And yes, I also participated in creating characters too. I helped create all of the art assets for the pawns. In the show, there are several pawns that are under the control of the Dark Chess Master, and they aren't bad pawns, but they have to follow orders because they're scared of the Dark Chess Master.
And guys, if you want to see some of Mark's artwork, you can go to our social media sites for Eagle Chess Knockout, and you can find a lot of his artwork there. And personally, one of my favorite pieces that you designed was the Eagle Chess Knockout t-shirt. Tell us a little bit about like what was your inspiration for the design and what inspired you to come up with the outline for what you did with the shirt?
Well, it was fairly simple. I started with an approximate size for the t-shirt. I had to develop some things without knowing what the final product was going to exactly look like. The t-shirt, as you know, the t-shirt manufacturer was not certain what the exact size was when we started developing it, so I had to make some guesses along the way, and I ended up guessing within the parameters, which was great. The overall design was to have the kind of logo slightly shrunk down in the center of the shirt and have the characters surrounding it, which was partly based off of other t-shirt designs that I've seen, but with the characters from the show Eagle Chess Knockout. And then I had to, with the character that's closest to the viewer, I had to quadruple the size of the sprite and then detail it, which is a little bit more tricky when you're doing any kind of magnification, because some artwork is designed to be drawn at a certain distance, so only some details are needed. But when you're doing a character that has a much closer or larger scale to it, you have to add some details occasionally to help sell that the image is closer to your eyeballs. So the main character, Chessateri, is supersized on the t-shirt, and her supporting team is behind her. And then the various other characters going all the way up to the top with the pawns and the Dark Chess Master and the Light Chess Master.
Yeah, and personally, like one of my favorite things is when you're like taking the Dark Chess Master and you kind of have him down, like reaching for the ultimate power, which is Chessateri's weapon in her hand. Because yeah, that that actually is brilliant because it describes the whole entire plot of season one, that the Dark Chess Master is looking for the ultimate power to destroy the universe. So it's a really awesome picture, you guys. If anyone does want any Eagle Chess Knockout t-shirts, please let me know. Or if you want to check out the podcast, I'm going to put the links down below. And you also got an opportunity to do a little bit of voice acting too, which I personally was excited about. Can you give us a little taste of the character that you play and maybe like a little piece of like the character voice for the slave pawn in Eagle Chess Knockout?
Yeah, sure. I am positive that I'm able to do so. The Saipon voice kind of started off a little differently, and then I kind of was able to get into like a more like I was able to get a more certain, like consistent voice out of the character, so that I was able to do it. And it's kind of the opposite of how I sound right now. And one of the things I do to help myself get into the mode to do the slave pawn is to hold my hands together and squeeze them, and that helps me to get the voice to come out. And he's very insecure, so he sometimes stutters a little bit, and there's nothing he can really do about it, but he wants to do better in his life, and that's why he was so motivated to help the Light Chess Master out.
And who is the light chess master?
To the slave pawn or in the show?
You can do both.
The light chess master gets kidnapped and is captive on the dark chess master's spaceship. And the slave pawn is the one who has to take care of the dungeons, who has to do all the nasty work on the ship. And that's small spoilers. That's because he had a part to play in the Dark Chess Master taking over Planet Pawn.
So, if people wanted to look into possibly doing a project with you, or maybe doing a logo design, or maybe even using your voice actor experience in another project, where can they reach out to you?
Well, for the most part, if you are interested in contacting me, you can use my email address, macromegaly@hotmail.com.
Awesome. All right. And for those of you who are staying so positive and are still with us, I'll put his email link in the video description below if you guys want to reach out to him. I'm sure if you put like in the subject like logo or artwork inquiry, I'm sure that he'll reach out to you. I can tell you, like I said, Mark and I have been best friends since 2007. Any endeavors I've ever done, he's always been like right there behind me, like one of my number one supporters. So this is my way of giving back. Mark, I'm going to shout you out. So if you guys want to work with Mark on any other potential projects, go reach out to him. He is amazing. He may have to schedule his time because Eagle Chess Knockout is one of his number one priorities aside from his own personal projects, but definitely go check him out. The other thing is, so not only does Mark do artwork, and not only is he now an established podcast voice actor, but he also loves to write. He's actually writing a book right now. He's tried to get me to see like the pages he's written so far, but I read like the first chapter or two, but I'm just like, no, I want to wait for the finished product because if he changes something, it's just gonna ruin it for me. But guys, he's amazing. Tell the audience a little bit about your writing and what's the name of the book that you're writing now.
Well, I am positive that the name of the book is Hane the Cursed Kunoichi. It is a historical fiction based in the region of Kumamoto, Japan, based in the Kumamoto River Valley after the disaster that happened 2 years ago. However, the remaining elements of the story, the town, the characters themselves, the events obviously are going to be 100% fictional. The reason why I'm basing the story in after a disaster that happened in Japan in real life is because I'm hoping to bring a little bit more of light to the people who had to live with this disaster. I wanted to base my book on that to bring some attention to the people who are suffering. And these people, most of them don't have internet. They don't really have like connection to the outside world for the most part. They're very much keep to themselves. Haven't been able to interview anyone. I don't speak the language. So there's a bunch of things that I don't necessarily know for sure, absolutely, other than the reports that I've read from the media. But that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to write my book and get attention for the people who are suffering out there, who are having basically their villages are not going to grow. They're not going to attract people. The young people have all moved away to the city. And it's sad to think that some of these villages are going to completely die out, which is one of the reasons why one of the themes of my book is a village that's in that same situation becoming stronger and better for it and ending up becoming a pivotal part of the River Valley area through the various events.
For the people that maybe might want to check out this book or read the book, are you gonna make it available to the public when you're finished with it?
I am probably going to be releasing a public version of the book, yes. I do wish to actually turn the story into a visual novel.
So
There really are
definitely,
comments down there.
yep, there are a lot of comments. They're coming in. I see likes and little hearts for those of you who are on Facebook, and for those of you who are on Rumble, don't forget to hit that power button over there.
I'm
And
positive this is an earthquake, or is this Rumble?
yes. And of course, the YouTube fans. Wow, everybody's coming in at once. But yeah, so I definitely think that this is a great start. Thank you, Mark, for coming in on episode 1. I'm so full of energy and I'm feeling the positive vibes and the positive power. And guys, stay tuned because Mark is actually going to be designing a new logo for Positive Power too. So that's another thing that will be coming. He's not really much of a social media person. One other thing I did want to mention, how tall are you? Tell our audience how tall you are.
Okay, so I am 6'8" and a quarter inch, which just puts me over 1 meter. I am 1.02 meters tall, which puts me in the top 1% of tall people in the world.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Guys, I mean, if you ever needed a best friend, like Mark is every definition of a best friend, and I'm so thankful that he's mine. You support me with everything.
I am positive that I can't be everyone's best friend down there. I'm sorry.
Yes, but I'm so grateful that you're mine.
I'm positive that you will be able to find a best friend out there somewhere, though.
Yeah, but you guys can't take mine, right? They can't.
I mean, you were just advertising me as a best friend and saying that, hey, I'm such a great best friend that, hey, why don't you take me away? By the way, if you're someone's best friend, hashtag best friend buddy down in the comments. I'm positive someone is going to be showing off how they're best friends with someone. And then you can all see how many best friends there are out there. And even if you don't have one right now, I'm positive that you'll find one soon.
Hashtag positive. Love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, Positive Power fans. I'm so happy that my number 1 best friend decided to come on the show today. And as always, guys,
stay positive.